all have a shadow, a figure within us we try to cover up. That dark side of our personality. Selfish, ruthless, cruel, egocentric. We all have it. Yes, even you. You know you're not that nice. Tell me, what are you hiding? Which mask are you wearing today? That nice version of you? The person who wants to be liked? The one who goes along? But what if I told you, you can use your shadow to transform? Go into the fear. Embrace it. Channel it. Dance with it. Maybe even become it. How limitless would your life be?
You're a cunt, Brian, not me.
Explain.
You're weak.
And you're showing me I'm weak.
And you want these people to like you.
And you're telling me I'm weak on that email.
Yes.
Because you love me, because you care.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. You have no idea how limitless it is when you're not afraid of what other people think or say. And you can be more than you are. If these little cunts think that you're something now, I see you 1,000 times more. See, they have low standards, these fucking weenies to watch this fucking thing. I don't. I know what you can be. They think you're a big fucking deal. I know you're not. And down deep inside, Brian, you know that I'm closer to being right than they are.
Today I'm traveling back to the place where my life changed. To see the man I hate. My mentor, Dan Pena. The $50 billion man. A figure born out of the wildest American dreams. Or nightmares. His grandparents crossed the border illegally from Mexico. His father was a cop, and some say an assassin for the CIA. Dan grew up in the barrio of East Los Angeles, where he learned the concept that will mark the rest of his life. I'd rather be dead than poor. Dan was always where the action was. First, the military. Next, Wall Street. Then, the oil business. You name it, Dan would seek it out and conquer. He is rich, arrogant, controversial, rude, violent, politically incorrect, a climate change denier, and an early Trump supporter. If you hate something in this world, it's very possible that Dan embodies it. His life is a constant adrenaline rush. In 72 years, he has amassed more money than he can spend in 10 lifetimes. These days, he teaches people how to be just like him at his castle in Scotland. He calls it QLA, the Quantum Leap Advantage, his 7-day seminar, where he's known to make grown men cry. And yes, he seriously has his own castle. The truth is, Dan changed my life. But that was never supposed to happen.
Merry Christmas to YouTube. And all you poor fuckers out there. You know? And we're going to show, that's pan down. Move a little, move. That's what Christmas is supposed to look like, you poor fucks. And if it doesn't look like there's about 300 presents here, if something ain't right, if your Christmas doesn't look like this.
My name is Brian Rose, and I'm the founder and host of London Real. Every week I broadcast important stories, curated from the greatest minds on the planet. I'm trying to make the world a better place. Today, I'm taking the same train I took 2 years ago, when I decided to undertake an experiment. To be mentored by Pena. I recorded everything. I thought it would be amusing. It wasn't. Dan stands for everything I hate. That's why I haven't spoken to him in a year. He only cares about one thing: money. In the last 20 years, his mentees have created over $50 billion of wealth. The top performers get immortalized with their picture in his coveted Hall of Fame. It's the wet dream of every one of his minions. That wall represents everything that's wrong with this world. And now he wants to put me on it. But I'm not a trophy.
We have a number of announcements that we'll be making this week, but one of the most important is the inductee of a brand new Hall of Famer, our very own, and I might add, the quickest to make it to the Hall of Fame since he attended the seminar. And he's very truly yours, Brian Q.L.A. Rose.
What's happening here is that I'm paying for my sins. Because I introduced Dan Pena to the world and made him a YouTube sensation. I opened Pandora's box, and I'll probably go to hell for it. Not long ago, the act of putting on a suit made me feel sick. It was a reminder of my past, a memory of all the things I did wrong. Back at the castle, it's just as I remembered. Everyone is walking on eggshells, putting on big smiles for the old man.
23 years ago, I thought they'd be copying me in months. And they're still not copying me. Nobody teaches it because none of the cocksuckers know how to do it. Am I the greatest that ever lived? You motherfucking right I am. I proved it to myself, not that I needed any fucking validation. Now, I expect you to go out and put it into use. I demand, and one of the reasons, and I pointed at the Hall of Fame, the reason those guys are up there and the gals is because they stayed focused longer. Now, tonight's a very special night because we're going to have an inductee to the Hall of Fame. But I'm saving him for last. He was here 2 years ago, almost to the day. 2 years ago to the day.
The wealth, the materialism, the fake faces. I know this world very well. I know where money and egotism will lead.
You know, I have a bit of an interesting story. I usually don't share a lot on the show, but I think I'm going to share it with you a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I didn't always spend my time speaking with interesting people like yourself. I used to work on Wall Street in Manhattan, and I was actually an engineer by trade, and you could argue that I could have gone on and built, you know, domes at the Venus Project, but I went straight to Manhattan. I was sold kind of this Wall Street dream, and you see these ultra-rich pieces you're constantly kind of advertised to, and you just, I don't know, I think it all came down to me when I got caught up in a further wave of greed in the dot-com boom. I saw the Trade Center come down in front of me. I was living in the East Village, and I must say that my kind of capitalistic dreams definitely went to a place where I think that we should be doing something different.
I was ashamed. I couldn't explain to myself how I ended up the typical greedy banker. How could I spend 10 years thinking only about me? Doing work I hated, only to have more money. I'm supposed to be a good guy. How did this happen? I just wanted more. Did that ever happen to you? I had everything. I had nothing. I was disconnected from what made me human. Who could I blame? Was it advertising, my upbringing, the American dream? I couldn't process it all, so I began drinking myself to death. Finally, I had to admit it. The selfishness, the arrogance, the egotism were a part of me. It was my fault. That was a bad day, but also the day my freedom began. So I walked away from it all. I started London Real in a desperate effort to purge myself of my sins. And guess what? It worked. I felt like I woke up from a nightmare. I was doing something I loved, just for the sake of it.
There are no good or bad people. People are shaped by culture.
I started making real human connections. And for the first time in my life, people liked me.
Question the nature of reality and what life's all about and everything. Is a big question we should all be asking.
Instead of extracting value from the world, I was adding value to it.
This world is a theater of experience. We are here to learn and to grow.
I realized how toxic money had made me and how pure I felt without it.
Because it's extremely easy, I think, to be achievement-focused, so forward-driving, goal-oriented. What is challenging is having the proper balance of achievement and appreciation.
Go figure. The banker is now the hippie.
I was thinking about what I want for London Real. I don't want to sell London Real and make us both rich someday. I want to be 70 and having cool guests on, you know? I mean, like, for me, this is the fun of doing this. It's like meeting cool people and doing what we're doing.
Everything was awesome. I was the king of free content. And then came the email from Dan Pena. At first, I ignored him. 50 billion what? This guy was the total opposite of London Real. I'm not going back to the money. That's everything I walked away from. But persistence can be effective, especially when you need a guest every week. To this day, I don't know exactly why, but I finally accepted and invited Dan on the show.